All right. Well, I am here with my very first interview in a series of interviews I like to do with people I know, customers, people that come throughout the store. Today, as my very first interview, I have my coworker Josh to tell me a little bit about himself and his experiences. Josh, why don't you tell me a little bit about you? You're on social media too, right?
Yeah, I am. You can find me at JMar Game Design on all the major platforms. Not Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, a little bit of Insta, but mostly on YouTube. YouTube and TikTok, I do videos on Magic, trading card games, trying to mash up stuff together. My background before coming down to Gigabytes actually was working in game development. I went out to a college. You might know it. It's a little more niche. DigiPen Institute of Technology over in Redmond, Washington. Very much like a technical school. You basically spit you spit hard in one direction. There's game devs or game studios just everywhere. Like the school itself is a 10-minute drive from Nintendo's main office in Redmond. Mm-hmm. So I was out there doing game development for the entirety of my degree. Came out here to Atlanta to work in casino games, which I always say is funny because I lived in Vegas for the longest time. So you'd think, oh, all the casino stuff's in Vegas. Well, actually, the studio is based in Vegas, but they develop stuff here in Atlanta. So moved out here for game development to do work in there. Worked on a bunch of casino game stuff. Company did a reorg, got laid off, and I decided, you know what? I liked doing content and trying to make content like a thing on YouTube, so I'm going to try doing some more of that. And then also decided, hey, if I have to work retail, why not work in a card shop?
How long have you been working here currently?
Oh God, I feel old. Actually, I know how long it's been. It has been a year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months?
Because I came on board February last year.
Are you enjoying your time so far?
Define enjoy. Oh. No, I'm taking the piss. No, there's definitely a lot of like weird things here and there. It's weird having been to so many card shops because card games are a massive part of my life. That's kind of why I decided to work here in the first place. Because I've done so much stuff with card games, between like being a person at the shop to now working at one and now managing a lot of our events and stuff like that for a lot of the smaller games. It's a very different experience, kind of seeing how the sausage gets made.
Management good though? Management okay?
I feel it's a bit of a biased question. Give it would be interviewed by. No, management's been fine. Management's fine.
Good to hear.
You don't see she has a notebook she has some writing notes behind the screen right now. This is actually my employee evaluations.
We'll find out later.
Fuck.
Anyway, so how long have you been playing Magic?
I picked up Magic kind of around college, actually, because I was a Yu-Gi-Oh kid for the longest time. I remember back in high school, some people were like, oh, we're playing Magic. I'm like, Magic. These fools. They don't know Yu-Gi-Oh. But I go to college and I find out, oh, people don't play Yu-Gi-Oh in college. They play Magic. So I got exposed between the Commander Club and then eventually being the pack fiend of like, oh, I'll pick up a pack here and there. I think the best pull I ever got was like Resplendent Angel from Cord 19, because I was like, oh wow, it's $5, and then it just never got reprinted for a billion years, and it just went through the roof. But I did Commander stuff in college. Never had my own decks really. I was always pinching decks off my friends. When I went back home to Vegas, my buddy from high school, Nate, had been getting into Magic too, so I started bumming some decks off him. And the two decks that I loved that he had was Scorpion God, because I liked how the -1/-1 counters work, and Muldrotha. Because I was like, man, I sure love value just replaying shit. And eventually, once I got the job lined up for here in Atlanta, like the Christmas before I would have to move out, he actually gave me the Muldrotha deck for Christmas, along with like some other Urza shit in there, because I was like, oh, I really want to build artifacts at some point. Because my first big like memory of Magic, of actually getting into a Commander game, was after a like student ambassador type event thing at college. People like, hey, we're playing Magic later. Do you want to come with? I'm like, I've never played Magic, but I'm willing to learn. And the deck I was handed was an upgraded Saheeli Precon. And I can pinpoint the exact play that made me like, oh, damn, I really like Magic. I like what you can do with it. I had Microsynthetis out. I played Saheeli's Directive for X's 23. and just ripped the entire deck off the top. It was like, damn, I understand why people like this shit now. But when I moved out here from Vegas, it was 2021, so like the midst of COVID, basically. And I was stuck at home for the first couple months because just, okay, I don't really want to go out because of COVID. It's like, I need to get out of the house or I'm going to go crazy. So there's a place here in Atlanta, Battle and Brew. It's a really cool place. They do like a bunch of gaming, and on Thursdays they have a bunch of Magic stuff going on. So I looked on Wizards Locator page, and Battle and Brew was like one of the shops, the closest shop nearest to me, and shop in the biggest quotation marks possible because they're not a shop; they're just like a sports bar kind of thing. They're like a restaurant. But I started going out to Magic nights. I remember some of the first product I actually picked up was like the Calamax Precon. And like the Kaldheim bundle. And for a while I was sticking with the Muldrotha deck, which people were like, man, this is miserable because at some point of the game, you start looping Pernicious Deed to rip apart the entire board, and you go, all right, cool. I will now start looping Mindslaver to win the game. Eventually that, for the same friend for my birthday, hooked me up with part of a Brea list that wasn't like crazy Brea like CDH. It was Brea Thopters. It was just like, here's a nice little like flying dude. He's gonna go at you and give you a peck on the cheek. But it was still Brea, and you know, shit gets kind of crazy. So I had those two decks for a while, hanging around this group, which ended up becoming like the main foundation of my friend group here in Atlanta when I first moved out here. And then eventually from them, within its own little group, of like branching out for D&D and just a bunch of other stuff. I guess the very long roundabout point of this I'm trying to make is that Magic has had a massive influence in my life since I started playing it really in depth when I moved out here to Atlanta. I was playing a little bit here and there, but really when I moved out here 4 years ago, was when I really got into the weeds and started jamming all the stuff.
Okay. Did you say, so you talked a lot about Commander. Did you say Commander's your main format in Magic?
I'd say Commander's probably my main. I am not opposed to other formats, though. I know a lot of Commander players are just like, I don't want to play limited or like 60 card sort of stuff, but I'm always down for it. I love jamming pre-releases because I think limited's a very interesting format. I've always tried to get drafts in for other things just to get an idea of it. Like, I kind of regret that I haven't been able to get a draft in for Dragonstorm, honestly, because the Dragonstorm Limited looks absolutely mental.
Yeah.
But like, I'd say majorly Commander, and then kind of around from there. Like, I tried to get into Standard with Arena, like way when Arena first came out, when I was first like getting into Magic, like tiptoeing into it. But then it was like, oh hey, we have rotation. I was like, wow, you have rotation. You're gonna make me spend more money? I'm not gonna spend more money. But yeah, primarily Commander. I've been wanting to get into Pauper because format looks cheap and just looks super fun. Wanted to do more limited, but wanting to do a bit more cube, which I guess is, same thing as limited basically. And I have opened enough random Modern Horizons 3 that I'm tempted to build Eldrazi because I have pulled 2 Ugin's Labyrinth and 3 Kozilek's Command.
What's that? You have a favorite Commander deck style? What are you doing?
I am the most nefarious of player. I play mid-range with a combo nestled somewhere in between. I mean, we played a handful of games. For as much as you get called the threat of the table, there are times where I'm just like holding up massive nonsense to my group, and you're like, no, beat Josh up. I'm like, no. Liza's the threat. She's always the threat. But no, hands down, my favorite commander has been Horde of Notions. Old Lorwyn card, 5-color elemental. Original questing beast with too many keywords of Vigilance, Trample, Haste. 5/5. You pay Woober, you can play an elemental card from your graveyard. Specifically, you're jamming, Commander Haymakers, Avenger of Zendikar, Maelstrom Wanderer, Nyx Bloom Ancient. If you want to be super interactive, you can do like a Solitude from the graveyard, which is always fun. The fun little story with that deck that I got kind of tangented off from last a little bit before. I had just the Brea and the Muldrotha deck, and my friends were like, this is fucking miserable to play against constantly. You need a third deck of something. And went to a friend's house. He showed me a binder. It's like, okay, pick one of these. We'll help you build a deck. We'll help you like with some of the cards and stuff. And I had played Hearthstone years and years and years ago. I'd stopped playing as much, but Elementals in Hearthstone was like one of my favorite decks in the entire game, basically. It had a weird play pattern because you always had to make sure you had an Elemental to play to boost the next one you'd play. But Elementals has been a favorite creature type, and I saw Magic has Elementals, and I went, all right, 5 colors, you get to play everything. let's go with this. And Horde has been easily the deck I've put the most tinkering time into to make bullshit combo nonsense. At one point, I was trying to force a scape shift line where you would get like with scape shift and you had like Dryad Elise and Grove out so you could get Valakut and just like lightning bolt the table constantly. And even now the deck has a bunch of weird stuff. Like I want to be able to untap my lands because I like combo. I will play Beledros Witherbloom to get the untaps. But I definitely say like combo is what gets my brain going whenever I want to play Magic.
Yeah. Love some combos. You say you see a lot of overuse of a certain card of any gameplay? Yeah, overplayed cards, maybe?
That's overplayed. God, I mean, it's a basic bitch answer, but like, between Rhystic and Smothering, mostly because like, I'm sorry, like it sucks, right? Because I know on a competitive level, it's like, you should pay your taxes. And even maybe on a moral level, you should pay your taxes.
Paying taxes. I don't know.
But it's just like, man, I don't know. It feels bad that some games boil down to like, okay, you got like the Rhystic, you got the Smothering. I've done that too. Like I got an Atraxa deck that just is like, not even Pillow Force. Just like, I'm just going to put up a bunch of guys, a bunch of advantage engines. You can't really do too much with it. But besides like those, like being the super big ones,
you mentioned several other card games. Are you playing any other card games besides Magic?
Yes, the big one is Alestrals. I have been doing a lot with them in the vein of also trying to get it going in the store as a bigger game, in the vein of actually helping on the development team as a tester for upcoming cards. Beyond that, I've tried to kind of branch out into other card games. We have stuff like I was about to say Sword Art Online here.
Oh, gosh.
Absolutely not. Star Wars Unlimited. Let me enunciate that real quick.
Is that a new Magic set?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Edge of Eternity is like kind of there. Oh God. Sorry, I just had like the worst like thought imaginable of like Star Wars Secret Lair.
I don't know. It'd be pretty cool.
I mean, it would be God. I mean, that's its own thing. I don't even have a question for Universe Beyond, but beyond that, other card games, Alestrals. I've been helping out with Star Wars Unlimited. I used to play Battle Spirit Saga before Bandai took it out back and put 2 slugs into it. Besides that, I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! I still try to nowadays, like Edison format and like a lot of the Time Wizard stuff. So I'd probably say about those 3 to 4 have been the games I've been tangentially around or trying to play. I know Gundam's coming out that looks pretty fun. Riftbound it's also coming out is looking pretty hot. I've stayed pure by not playing League of Legends for the longest amount of time. It dominated my friends in college and high school. I will finally take the dip beyond teamfight tactics and try something League related.
Yeah. With all that being said, and as we kind of mentioned, how do you feel about Universes Beyond in Magic currently?
I feel it's a very complex thing for me personally, because back in the day I would I'd make like custom Yu-Gi-Oh cards and like stuff like that. Like one of the things I'd always try to do was like trying to figure out how to make Bionicle like as a concept kind of work within Yu-Gi-Oh. And part of the stuff on my own channel is like taking card games and like smashing them together. So like converting Yu-Gi-Oh into Magic and having that work out. Like I don't know how to properly describe it. It's like there's something very pure, right, about like just a kid or somebody just like trying to insert like Goku into Yu-Gi-Oh. Like if you go on Dueling Book, you see like so many fucking custom cards like, oh, this is Goku. He has 50 billion attack points. And he like nukes the field when he eats EVs. But like it just felt really fucking weird when suddenly like, the big company now has like control over to it. It's weird because like there's been a lot of really cool designs, honestly. Like it's weird for me because I don't have a lot of attachment to a lot of the Universe Beyond stuff that's come out. This is going to make me look like the worst nerd possible, but I never watched Lord of the Rings, and I've never played Final Fantasy as like the 2 big ones. My nerd cred just went down the fucking the nerd stocks for Josh just fucking crashed as I'm speaking.
Oh my god.
And like there's steps into I guess like the feel of the world, like Warhammer. I'm not a big Warhammer guy, but it's like okay, I'm kind of digging like a lot of the vibes with Magic. Lord of the Rings, okay, it's also kind of the same wizard vibe stuff. Final Fantasy, it's weirder because it's like it's a game, but the vibes kind of match. But then we've had like really fucking weird shit, like between Walking Dead. Like, I don't know if I'd say Transformers is like quite in the vein. Like, maybe it's just the art style because they're using the old 80s stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, my fear, especially with how successfully I've already said, you know, like Lord of the Rings was the most successful Magic set of all time for like Wizards themselves for everyone like buying it and getting new people into the game. Final Fantasy is easily looking to be that and like massively exploding it. Like shit, we both know. We've had people calling in for the past month asking about Final Fantasy pre-release and like what pre-orders for it look like. But my fear is that it's just like kind of continuing a cycle of like everything needs to be a mashup. It needs to be a collab. I can't whether say this is true or not, but I feel on some level it's taking away from what I guess got people into Magic originally. Not to say that the Magic story in the world was always the best, right? Like it's lacking here and there. Some of the characters kind of weak, but it had its own identity. And especially with like the live reaction at MagicCon Vegas last year to, hey guys, the next year sets, half the Universes Beyond. For context, right before that announcement, they announced that MSRP was coming back, and the entire like show floor erupted in cheers. They announced Universes Beyond for the second half. Like, hey guys, you know, the second half of Universe Beyond. You could hear a pin drop. Basically, it was that like stark of a reaction difference. Just like between Fortnite and like Dead by Daylight doing all this mashups and stuff. I feel at some point it dilutes from Magic's own like identity, and I just don't want everything to turn to like a collab. Like I want to see Magic like be on its own. I want to see someone hyped for Magic because like, oh, new Jace, new Chandra, new Shivan Dragon. Honestly, why the hell not? Like honestly, I mean, shit. We saw Dragonstorm was absolutely hyped. Yeah, probably because dragons, but I feel like also like, oh, it's like more the Magic feel. I think Dragonstorm is probably the best set late, and like Bloomburrow and like Dustmorn. I think those were examples of like good settings that like didn't have to rely on something else. Like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is I'm afraid Magic is going to be losing its identity as it does more and more of these collabs. It's going to become less of its own world and more of just like a game system like Union Arena or Weiss.
Except for it's a good game system.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But it's just going to turn into its own game system and not like it's a game system, not a game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. But what's your white whale? White
whale's Bionicle. Fucking you Universe Beyond Bionicle tomorrow. I'm fucking out there with the flags like, yeah, baby. Give me Tahoe.
Well, we've been through a lot. You already admitted you'd pay your taxes. I'm not going to ask you would you pay the one. You already admitted you're going to pay it every time, apparently.
If I can, yes. If I don't want, you know, there are times I'll be honest where it's like, will I pay the one? Maybe, but like, I think on principle, I'm like, nah. Yeah. It's dicey. It's dicey. Sometimes I want to pay the one. Sometimes I'm like, absolutely not. I want to do my combo. Fuck you. What are you going to do? Draw Force of Will? Fucking go. Dude, bite me.
Well, Josh, it was good having you out. Yeah, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Eliza. Appreciate you.
All right.
And we're good.